Hello and welcome to the video on how to hook a minnow. This is going to be a video meant for beginner fishermen or people who don't really know how to rig bait, especially live bait. So I'm going to go over the different scenarios and hooking methods for hooking a minnow. So let's begin. First off, you gotta understand that the different anatomy of a minnow will also depend on how long you want it to live and how much you want it to stay on strongly. And first off, I'm going to be using a large circle hook here just for demonstration purposes, as well as a soft plastic so that it's roughly anatomically correct and you can get the idea without this video getting flagged for me just running hooks through minnows for no reason. So first off, this is going to be the dead stick method. This will generally keep the minnow alive the longest and have a lot of action. You hook it right through the tail like that, and the minnow is still fully alive and able to wiggle all over the place, and you have really good action. Only problem is with this method is if you are moving the stick that much, the gills on the minnow will be forced open and water will be forced away from the gills, killing the minnow relatively quickly. So eventually you have dead bait. This is why this is best for dead sticks, limb lines, trot lines, pretty much anything that is going to be left alone for a long period of time. The next method you have, which is used by a lot of live bait fishermen in roughly the same scenarios, but you can move it a bit more, is the back hook. This is often used in live bait rigs, particularly with big game fish like lake trout and northern pike. You hook it right in the back there, not on the spine. Keep that in mind. You don't want to hook the spine or else the fish will be paralyzed in the tail. You hook it just like that, and the minnow is still fully alive and can swim all around. And nice thing is, typically it can last a little bit longer than just the tail method, and it has a better wounded action because it'll swim more on its side than directly away. And next is my favorite for the bobber method, where you have the regular hook and a split shot, and you just got it on a bobber. I'll generally go in front of the dorsal fin, which on this soft plastic is going to be roughly about there anyways. I'll generally go either through the main body of the fish like that, or alongside. This plastic is starting to get tore up, but generally closer to the head. Now you want to make sure you don't go into the rib cage and get the vital organs. And actually, I put that in backwards. Let me just, I don't mind going weird places. Yeah, you want to start at the head and go backwards. So when you pull the minnow in, the water is flowing the correct way across its gills. And then, minnow is still fully alive, fully functional, swims on a nice wounded action, and will last a long time. This is typically for bobber rigs where you have the bobber that's going to be relatively stationary, but you can move it. So this is good for like catfish rigs or bobber rigs, pretty much where it's going to be moving a little bit. And next is the head rig, which is typically a kill hook, usually used just for killing the fish for scent purposes, such as putting it on a hair jig or something. That way you can have the minnow there for a little bit of flash and the flavor. And what a lot of people like to do is they like to try and just hook it through the lips without going through any of the brainstem or anything. And while that can make the minnow last a long time, it also makes it easy for it to get off, because it doesn't have to go through much bone or anything, and you'll get so much lost bait you won't even think it's funny. What you want to do is, if you're ever hooking directly into the head, you want to run it past the skull. Make sure you get the hook past the skull and run it up into there. Then this effectively kills the fish, makes it very hard for the hook to pull out, and you get very good hook sets because when the fish bites it, it bites all the way in. And it does kill the minnow typically, but it keeps it on the longest. This will be typically if you're throwing it on a beetle spin or tipping some sort of lure with it. This is the best way to hook a minnow if you're going for dead bait. Live bait, it's best to hook it in the back like this, or further back depending on how much action you're going to be putting it through. Just remember, if you're going to be moving the minnow around more, place the hook more towards its head. If there's going to be a dead stick, you're easier to go closer to the tail and avoid the vital organs in here. So, that's how to hook a minnow for live bait in different types of scenarios. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video, hope it helped, and goodbye.